and go home with us. Pretty neat piece.
So it has been extremely busy around here. I haven't had a chance to work on Equalizer like consistently for very long. I just a little here and a little there, so I haven't filmed as I've been working on it. But I'll give you a little updates as to what's went on here. Got the engine in, got the blower belt on. This blower belt is actually too long. Had to put the idler on the inside of it and force the belt out. That is not the correct way. I don't think it's going to last that way because that belt thumps when it goes around on that idler. But we're going to leave it like that for now to try to get it to fire. I mounted a power steering pump that actually come with my monster truck from Paul Wickelman down there on the frame. And I was going to mount a stock Saginaw pump, which is what Scott Hess would have preferred. But they're literally, the way this frame is, I don't know how they used to drive their pump, but the way the frame is, there's not room for that. So this pump right here came with my truck, and I welded brackets on the frame rail in here, mounted that, got the belt all on it, got a line running up. I got to mount the reservoir up here yet for that power steering pump. Made a bracket out of an old alternator bracket. Actually, this was actually a bracket kit that Scott Hess sent and with me for the Saginaw pump. I modified this bracket, welded it up for the throttle on this back carburetor, because we're only going to use one carburetor on this because it's not a big horsepower application. So throttle bracket made there. Then I went inside and the throttle pedal wasn't hooked to a cable down there, so I used the old cable off of my monster truck that was way too long. It worked perfect for this. I made a bracket down in there to hold it, and which you can't see because it's dark. But yeah, so that cable is hooked up now. Just knocking things off the list as I could here. The plan is, in 2 days, I'm gonna have this engine running, hopefully, to make sure I don't have a knock or nothing crazy going on. I got some help coming to get it running. But for now, turbo 400 transmission. So I got to give props to the guys that did that back in the day every night, like between races. Especially if that son of a gun was hot. That would not be fun. But I got it up in there. I got to finish bolting it in. It's pretty much in place. Nothing crazy is going to go on now, hopefully. So I'm going to quit filming for a few, get it bolted in and whatever, and then we'll update you guys more.
Just turn everything on.
It's on, the pump ain't going.
It may, because it's got, well, see, it's flipped, so it may cycle like you're saying. I don't know, I'm not familiar with that, but the carb is full, so it'll.
It's on. I got transmission fluid leaking like a motherfucker out of this. All right, so been working on Equalizer here today. Been a fiasco. I'm glad my cousin Sean showed up because he is the big block expert. And we figured out that the oil pump was not being drove by the HEI distributor that we put in there. It had a different style on it, so we had to switch the gear on the end of that. We have an intake leak up here we have to work on yet, but it does start and run. The other big thing is we're not driving the blower because our blower drive isn't the right size, but we'll get one of those this week. And of all things, the transmission, the front pump's leaking. I mean, it goes smooth as glass, so fire this thing up here, show you it runs, and then we'll yeah, wait on some more parts. So as you see, starts really easy. Sean's got the timing spot on. It was cool. So just little knick-knack things. What's happened is this drive right here, this hub that goes in and bolts to the front of the blower that we got sent to us has the wrong splines in it for the actual hub that we got to have to drive it. So that's why we haven't been able to use the blower. All in all, it runs today. That's a good deal. Yesterday evening, I sent my father over to a blower shop an hour and a half away. He got us a new drive, this new snout right here. Got us a new pulley, got a new hub for inside. I got all that put on. Just did that a few minutes ago here. So another thing that was going on when we started this the other day, this intake plate right here had a bolt stripped into the blower. So I helicoiled that last night in a hurry, bolted that back down, got the blower belt on, got a new cap right here with the plug in it to put oil in the blower. I guess I'm gonna see if this thing will start with the blower on it real quick, just because I really want to know what it sounds like. That is awesome. So as you see, the blower belt stays on. That is a good sign. And it still idles high. I don't know why. I don't know what's leaking on the intake. That's the only thing we can figure is it's got an intake leak, but hey, it runs and the blower belt stays on. Started like a champ again. Once I get the power steering belt hooked up and some more stuff, we'll maybe try to tune on it. We need to get it to idle down a little bit. So far, so good, guys. So the good news is, Kyle's here again. If you just saw his crack.
Great.
He was showing off for you guys. And the reason he's here when I'm getting a lot of stuff done most of the time is because he comes up on Friday nights and works on his truck over here. I'll give you a little overview of the truck he's working on. First gen Dodge Cummins, short bed, regular cab. Started out, they never made a short bed, regular cab first gen. So this frame was shortened up when we got it. The body was kind of trash on it. We come up with this body, I think it's an 87. So now Kyle is working on the front end here, getting it all notched out for intercooler and diesel radiator and everything, because these gas trucks really weren't made to have a Cummins in them, I guess. But P-pump 24 valve Cummins, should make around 600 horse. Got a manual MV 4500 5-speed 2-wheel drive transmission in it. Triple disc valve air clutch. Should be just a nice little street hot rod. So what I'm working on tonight is this thing, Equalizer. Again, getting closer to showtime. As you saw, it runs. Transmission I think works, seems to spin a little bit. I got brakes working the other night on it. I had to bleed the master cylinder and put a line on. I put a new line on, I should say, from one of the old master cylinders up underneath here. I actually cut a hole in the aluminum there to give it some more travel, the foot pedal. And I had a spare Willwood brake caliper and pads I put on there. And I got brakes, so that's good. Now what I'm doing tonight, we're going to try to make it drive. I finally got axle shafts from Mike Waters. We were waiting on these outer axle shafts right here. He had sent me these inners, and I thought I had outers, but when he sent me the inners, this claw was bigger. So you can't put a small claw and a big claw together. You got to have two bigs. Show you guys something. So this here, this is your spindle nut, spindle, champagne. Champagne's actually in here. This is your knuckle. It goes on your champagne. You got your bottom kingpin, your top kingpin, what I call it. Well here, Mr. Michael Waters customized this one because when he kept putting the knuckle on, he said he couldn't figure out the axle kept cocking. This knuckle was cocking out and the wheel wasn't set straight. So he cut this out and he modified it. We still don't know why, if it's something going on with the champagne or if it's got something going on with the knuckle. So yeah, it's custom. It should work. There we go. The last fall is always the hardest because it tries falling out just like that did. All the way in finally. So I got very frustrated last night working on this rear corner trying to get axle shafts in it because how the champagne is all bent and Vodder's kingpin deal he's got going on there to get everything straightened up, it wouldn't let the axle shaft center in the spindle, so the spindle wouldn't bolt on. So I should have been done with this at like 7:30 at night. It was 11:30 before I got it to the point you see it here now. I have the axle shafts in it, got the spindle on it. Everything is bolted back up in here. Actually had to washer that top cap up and make my own bushing for the bottom and stuff, but I think I got it to where it'll go together now. So I got to throw this thing together, let the silicone seal up on it before we put oil in it this morning. All right, finally got that all bolted on, drawn in as best I can. This hub is in extremely bad shape. It's been around a while, but it's going to work for this. I think they're all tight. Hopefully it doesn't leak real bad. It seemed like the flange drawn in good. So sun gear's in. Next thing, I got to seal this up, put the outer cap on. I think we're on road recovery. Silicone her up. Good to go. Another day on Equalizer. This thing has fought me tooth and nail. Everything I've done. Got the passenger seat all mounted. Plate of steel that got cut out, drilled holes in it. Welded it to these bars. These bars here kind of match those bars over there. The old harness, I can't remember where we come up with that harness. We were going to use that in America, but it's all outdated, so it's a perfect thing for it because this whole truck's outdated. Everything is hooked up here that I know of. I got the hydraulic pump for the front steering mounted. Today, while I had a spare minute, I didn't have time to video, but I mounted that in there. I had made the mounts the other night and whatever. Hooked all the new hoses up I had made to the orbital valve. I switched the orbital valve out the other afternoon in a hurry. Michael Vodder Sr. sent me that one. I put that one in. That's like off a bulldozer or something. It's not ideal, but it'll work. So, reservoir for the front power steering is right there. Blower belts on. Sean come over, my cousin, helped me get the carb to idle adjusted. The back flaps and the carb were actually bent. We pulled them out, smashed them flat. Got the idle set to where it's a little bit better now. So yeah, a lot of work been done on this thing, a little bit of time. So this thing is not going to be completely done. We're going to have it for a while. We're going to work on it more. But I think it's almost ready to go to its first event, which is in Raleigh, North Carolina. And if you're watching this right now, I hope you saw this thing at Raleigh, because my goal is to take it, tire it up, drive it in front of the crowd. Yeah, do the deal. But for now, let's start this thing up and see if it moves forward and backwards. For the front, it's got some air in it still, got to get worked out and stuff, but it'll do what we need it to do. Probably switch out to a better orbital eventually, but Michael Vodder sent that to me and that's what we're going to use.